Welcome to Tide Time with your boy Cam, a channel where we talk about all things Crimson Tide football as far as updates and everything you need to know about the team. And I know A-Day was a couple of days ago, but there's still some big things to take away from it, although it was kind of a scrimmage, a little bit of a practice. I don't know if it was even a whole day, to be perfectly honest with you, but there were 3 big takeaways that I got from it that I would love to share with you guys. Which brings me to my first point. NIL is ruining the college experience for all of the fans. And I say this because when you come into the stadium, first of all, if you look at it from past years to this year, A-Day just looked completely different just from a stadium standpoint. No one was really there. So maybe everyone else got the memo, but when me and my family walked up in there, it was almost like a ghost town in Bryant-Denny Stadium because there was no one really there. And you have to say, when you see all of the things that happened and what transpired, it was just a practice. So many people wasted their time and their gas to go see this event that was merely just a simple practice. And I think a lot of that is because of NIL. A lot of it is because coaches don't want other teams to see what their backups can do, and it's kind of ruined the experience for fans. Now, I'm not saying NIL is a bad thing at all. I wish players like Johnny Manziel and Reggie Bush had the opportunity to do some of these things because they do make a lot of the money that the school ends up getting and using, and they should be able to get some of the money from that as well. But when you look at it, what it's doing it for fans, I've had the privilege and the blessing to go to a lot of Alabama games, SEC championships, if you will, and a lot of people don't. So people were traveling miles and miles and miles. I'll travel from Georgia, but there could be people from South Carolina, Kentucky, taking flights because this is the only chance that they'll get to see their team at home. And this is an experience that was kind of ruined because of NIL. And I know a lot of you guys want to jump the gun and say Kalen DeBoer this, Kalen DeBoer that. And I hate this whole controversy thing where we keep trying to compare Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer when they're in 2 different eras of college football. Yes, Kalen DeBoer does things differently than Nick Saban, and a lot of Alabama fans just truly just don't like that. But in my opinion, he has to be a part of the times. He has to do it his way. So maybe his way was just kind of showing us that, hey, I can't really show you guys too much at these events, but I can still give you a free ticket to the practice. Now, as fans, we hate it, but as coaches, you kind of have to respect it, and that's what college football is turning into. So that was my main first takeaway, that NIL is ruining the game just a little bit. All right, on to my second takeaway. Now, everyone knows the Alabama quarterback situation. It's a real conundrum if you think about it. All in past years, we kind of knew who was coming next, whether it was Bryce Young, whether it was Mac Jones. We kind of already knew who our quarterback was. This year, it's kind of a jumble between Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, and Keelan Russell. And what I can tell you from just watching a couple of the passes, because again, it wasn't that much that was really shown, but it looks like Ty Simpson is our for sure starter. He had a good drive when he first started, scored a touchdown, and it looked very easy. And he's been there for a couple of years, so you kind of expect him to be in the groove of the offense, and that's what it felt like. Now, the biggest surprise and a little bit of news to me is how out of sync Austin Mack was. Now, I haven't watched Austin Mack a whole lot. We've only seen a little bit of him. We saw a little bit of him during the Mercer game, and I haven't seen all of his spring practices. This is just one performance that I've seen from him, but he didn't look in sync at all. He missed a couple of passes. He threw the most interceptions, and I was thinking this is our for sure competing with Ty Simpson, maybe number 1, but for sure number 2. But as I kind of continued to watch this practice, it seemed like Keelan Russell was the number 2, and he looked way more confident in the pocket. He completed a lot more of those passes, and he just seemed like the quarterback Kalen DeBoer wants. Because to me, last year, it wasn't Jalen Milroe that he necessarily wanted, but he was gifted Jalen Milroe, and we saw success off of that, and we also died off of it in the end because of the passes that Jalen just couldn't make. Keelan Russell looks like that kind of pocket passer, Michael Penix-esque type quarterback, someone that Kalen DeBoer can really run his RPO system with, that can also make the outside of the numbers throws. So don't be surprised if it comes maybe a week or 2 or a month before the season and you see Austin Mack jump into that transfer portal because he's been moved to quarterback 3 and Keelan Russell is number 2, because I can definitely see that happening. I think, again, Ty Simpson is the starter for the Crimson Tide, but don't be surprised if he gets off to a shaky start in Tallahassee that you see number 12 roll in and he does work. I got real faith in him, and I think he may be the future quarterback of Alabama. Okay, last point, guys. So another big takeaway that I saw was the receiver room. So Isaiah Horton is a transfer Alabama got from Miami. He stands at, I believe, like 6'2", 6'3", and he looked really good at A-Day. As far as the receivers, he looked the best, let's be real, although Hollywood wasn't even practicing, so I guess that's kind of a caveat for him. But Jeremy Bernard was there, and Jalen Mbakwe. We saw a little bit of all three of those guys. But my starting three receivers that I think you'll see week 1 is going to be Isaiah Horton, it's going to be Jeremy Bernard, and of course Hollywood. And I think it's going to be a really good trio this year because we were a little vertically challenged last year, a little bit because of Jalen Milroe. And I don't think I'm a Jalen Milroe hater. I think Jalen Milroe did the best with what he could do, okay? So he was more of a running quarterback, so we had more of a running scheme, which kind of left our receivers and our pass game just out to dry for a second. But I think Ty Simpson will be able to move the ball just a little bit more to these receivers. And Isaiah Horton and Jeremy Bernard, to me, should be the X and Z receivers. They should be on the outside, and we should have Hollywood, Ryan Williams in the slot. Kind of like you saw Ohio State do with Jeremiah Smith. They kind of had him line up all over the place to kind of get the mismatch, because as explosive as Hollywood was on the outside, he just seemed too small, and teams kind of took him away like you kind of saw in the Tennessee game. But I believe Isaiah Horton, with the speed he has, with the footwork we saw, and some of his cuts, that he'll be able to get the most out of the outside, rather as Hollywood could be in between the numbers in the slot and getting the ball a little bit more. So those were my big takeaways from Alabama's A-Day. Short and quick, and we'll have more updates coming real soon. If you saw anything that you thought stuck out that I didn't say, definitely write it down in the comment section. Like and subscribe. Ty Time out.